think we can. Do we all agree we can begin? You want to let a few more people come in?
We could, we could let maybe people arrive for 2-3 minutes still.
Get some, maybe some minor, some.
This is the harsh media and entertainment reality. Even remotely, people
yeah. Bonjour,
living.
Patrick.
Salut, Patrick.
Bonjour à tous.
Ça va bien?
Ça va et vous?
Bonjour.
Super, merci.
Bonjour, Derek.
Bonjour, Rafi, comment ça va?
Hello. Can you hear
Salut,
me?
Rafi.
Salut, salut.
De votre côté, Marc, je crois qu'il manque possiblement du monde.
Ah, je vais chercher ma bouffe.
Bon, we know the doorbell. We know the Uber vouchers worked. Denis should be logging in shortly. Had a bit of a computer issue. C'est toujours ça, hein, le cordonnier mal chaussé.
Oui, c'est ça. Oui, il y a encore du monde qui se joigne à nous. Pour tous ceux qui se joignent en ce moment, on est en attente. On laisse un petit peu de temps pour que tout le monde puisse se joindre à nous. Et certains membres de Imagitech également vont se joindre. Ça vous donnera le temps de recevoir vos lunchs probablement.
We should have had some elevator music or some Christmas music in the background. Well, bonjour, Emery.
Allô, allô.
Ça va bien?
Ouais.
Yeah, right now is the sweet spot where we are free to play some Christmas and holiday music, and everybody should be happy to hear it. Like, yeah. It's not too soon or it's not too late.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. There was every year it's the same debate, right? Right after Halloween, I mean, the kids are out trick-or-treating and the stores are already, putting up the Christmas decorations and all that stuff. And then there's the debates everywhere. I don't know about you guys over out your way, but then there's always the debate. Okay, so then it's Remembrance Day, which obviously is an important day. And there's backlash for people who put up the Christmas decorations before Remembrance Day. It just at one point, let's get some let's get some Christmas tunes going. And I think to your point, Pascal, we're past that threshold now where no one can really say anything. We're at the midway mark now, I think, almost. Yeah, we're the 9th. We're good.
I'm going to share a story. This is not happening in Paris. This is happening in Geneva, in Switzerland. A lady was fined by the police because she has put on the decoration too soon before the official start of the Christmas period.
Really?
Ouch, that hurts. Decoration, I don't mind so much. It's the commercials and
Yeah.
trying to sell you Christmas. That's and this year it was before the Halloween because of supply chain issues.
Oh, there you go. Wow. I mean, here we give out fines for putting your snow tires on too early, not for Christmas decorations.
Oh, I didn't
Oh,
know that.
oh man. Wow, that's intense.
Hey guys, sorry for running late.
Salut Mathieu.
Salut.
On laissait quelques minutes. Denis se joint à l'appel. Je pense qu'on va être bon pour démarrer.
Ouais, je pense que oui. Ah, c'est-tu Mathieu Péloquin?
Ouais, ça se peut
Ah,
que je
salut,
doive
Mathieu.
quitter,
Comment ça va?
par exemple, je suis sur
Bon.
une urgence, mais c'est ça.
Urgence client ou urgence personnelle?
Client.
Ah, ok, c'est correct. D'accord. Voilà. So I think we're should we begin?
Yeah, I think we would be ready to begin.
Good.
Alex, you're all good?
Parfait. Je sais que Denis s'en vient. Donc, merci tout le
I'm
monde.
Bonjour.
Ah, Denis, tu es là?
Oui.
Ah, parfait. Bonjour,
Salut, Denis.
Denis.
Bonjour.
Bon, voilà. Donc, on va commencer. Je tiens à remercier tout le monde, vraiment, surtout tous ceux qui se sont joints à l'événement, nos clients, nos partenaires et tout ça. Merci beaucoup d'avoir pris le temps. Comme vous le savez, là, c'est un virtual lunch and learn. Donc, on va faire un overview de la solution combinée de Atempo et Qumulo. Question les solutions de gestion de data. Pour la plupart, le lunch and learn va se passer en anglais. Par contre, on va avoir un Q&A à la toute fin. Naturellement, on a une équipe francophone aussi, donc si les gens se sentent plus à l'aise de poser leurs questions en français, s'il vous plaît, faites-le. Vous pouvez, pendant la session, simplement soumettre vos questions via le chat. Si c'est plus simple comme ça, à moins que ce soit vraiment, vraiment pertinent pour une slide spécifique, là, c'est vraiment c'est important d'avoir la réponse là parce qu'on dérape ou peu importe. Là, voilà, faites juste le mentionner dans le chat, puis on va s'arrêter pour répondre à la question. So welcome everybody. Thanks to all of my colleagues, our friends over at Qumulo and Atempo. With us today, we have, I'm going to run down here, we have Pascal Fillon from Qumulo, who will be presenting on the Qumulo side. We have Mike Oakes, who's with us, who will be presenting for Atempo. And myself, Mark Stevens, I will be taking care of the Technologie component at the very end of the presentation. If quickly, we can just do a quick run through for all of our clients and partners who just joined. Simply just maybe say your name and the company you're with, just so everyone can get an idea. That would be great.
I could probably, if we let's start probably via the list. We have Rafi is having trouble joining. We have Abhinav.
Hello, everyone. Pleasure to meet you. I work with Gentilhomme Studios, and we are located in Montreal.
Merci, bienvenue.
David Bertrand.
Hi, everyone. My name is David. I'm working for Mel Studios in Montreal.
All right. I believe I guess we have Derek as well, but we'll cheat with the manufacturer. So Derek Limoges.
Oui, ouais, je travaille pour Zone 3.
Bonjour Derek.
In Montreal.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Emery.
Emery de Real by Faith. Aussi à Montréal.
À Montréal. Ensuite, on a Ferhat Kadour.
I'm far from you guys. Je suis en France.
Ouais, oui, c'est
Comme vous
ça.
pouvez voir, je parle français.
L'accent trahit un peu, mais écoute. Ferhat, tu es chez Atempo.
Absolument. Je suis en charge des ventes aux Amériques et également en charge des partenariats technologiques. Et donc très proche de nos amis de Qumulo.
Excellent. Jérôme, salut Jérôme.
Bonjour, Jérôme Gasselin de Moment Factory
À Montréal.
à Montréal.
Ensuite, on a également Louis de chez Atempo. Je l'ai peut-être pris au dépourvu. Michael.
De la Société des arts technologiques à Montréal.
Rafi. Rafi, tu avais de la misère. Je ne sais pas si je m'essaye. Ça se peut que Rafi ne puisse pas parler. Soit ça ou il a la bouche pleine.
Allô?
Salut Rafi.
Je ne sais pas si vous m'entendez.
Oui.
J'ai des gros problèmes de connexion aujourd'hui. Je ne sais pas ce qui se passe. Mais je vous entends plus ou moins. Mes écouteurs Bluetooth ne fonctionnent plus. Il n'y a plus rien qui marche. Mais j'ai ma bouffe. Je vous écoute, je vous vois. Donc, moi, je suis à l'ONF. Toujours et encore. Et voilà. Je suis sysadmin à l'ONF en charge de plusieurs stockages et de plus en plus de Qumulo.
All right. And so Atempo, America, as well as Qumulo, we have Sarah Mason, as well as Mike Oakes from Atempo, and Alex Leclerc and I from Qumulo, as well as the whole team from Images in Tech.
Hi, everyone.
All right.
So I guess we can start.
Yep. Okay, so we'll start with Qumulo. If you have, so we're short on time, but if you have any questions, do post them in the chat. And we'll try and discuss both Mike and I if you have any questions or insights in terms of Qumulo and Atempo workflow. Alex, are you there?
Yeah. So Alexandre Leclerc, Territory Account Manager for Qumulo. All in all, Qumulo is an unstructured data management platform. And so, there's a few slides in there that are mostly for, I'd say some of the marketing purpose, but some of the also in terms of like some of the bullet points that people keep in mind when they choose our solution, and some of the pain that they're going through. I'd say mostly the ones that, gets the highlight is the bad customer support. I was about to say, obviously, the bad customer support that people are living and going through. Some of my past experiences told me that, and I've heard that often, that they're not served well, and they feel that they could get better service. The lock-in is sometimes more of a subjective discussion, so I would not spend too much time on that one. The complexity of the platform is something that people complain a lot about, and data blindness. The data blindness meaning that you have very to no visibility over what's running and filling your data storage appliance or solution. And that becomes, with some of the people and infrastructure manager, the most obvious pain. Moving on.
I would just add on this slide that data blindness, bad customer support, we probably all had to live through this looking at you, Jérôme, at Moment Factory, but also at Rafi at the NFB. But we've all had to go through like really bad experiences in terms of support, and data blindness usually is the killer feature with Qumulo. So we're able to show you live what's happening on your file system, and the conversation shifts to something completely different, especially when it comes to media and entertainment.
So maybe Pascal, you want to go over more of the technical aspect of this, but all I'm going to say is that when people mention like the vendor lock-in, or we're mostly a software, we're identifying and primarily a software company, meaning that like we do what Pascal hates when I say, but like we're software-defined storage. But the difference, and that what differentiate us from all of our competitors, is the fact that we choose the hardware on which we do what we do, meaning that like we control the narrative in terms of support, in terms of the sizing, the specifications, and that gives us a lot of control over well, precisely that, like the quality of our support, because we do know exactly what we're running on. In terms of it's a cloud native developed software solution, and therefore like we're available on mostly on all of the public cloud stores, our marketplace, so Google Cloud, AWS, and Azure. And then like I'd say that like it's mostly a question of like the future set. What's important here is to know that like there are no bronze, silver, or platinum version of our software. Like it's everything that you see there is included in every licenses that you purchase with us, including the support and the subscription. And yeah, like it's, so there's no tiering of the quality of the product that we offer a customer.
So I guess we're a scale-out file storage platform. We are there at each step of the media and entertainment or creative workflow. It could be ingest, transform, publish, or archive. So we have 3 classes of systems, historically being the active archive solution, the hybrid systems, as well as the all-flash for really high-performance workloads. However, as Alex mentioned, we're cloud natives, and so we're software defined. We can run on hardware platforms as well as all the 3 on all 3 major cloud providers. But we're software defined done well. So I used to be a customer. There are some terms I don't like or I was allergic to. Software defined done well is proper quality control processes, agile development methodology, really well-defined hardware platforms, so our support teams can support the product and the platform properly. All of our support agents and engineers are all based. There is no junior personnel. They're all based in the United States, with our company being headquartered in Seattle. But it's really a great product, as well as a great customer support experience, so much so that I could say that all of our customers in Quebec at least are raving about their experience and products, which is usually not the case with a boring storage solution.
So a few like a few things around like the customer support. The Slack channel is something that I've seen with my own eyes. Like every new customer is given a Slack channel where like within minutes they can have access to engineering and support personnel. So like there's no automated lines, and like there's no phone calls with like we're calling you back and so on and so forth. Like it's a real live Slack channel that you can actually ping in and have as quickly as possible of an answer to your questions, and it gives you access to the whole Qumulo organization. Like so that's the beauty of that. In terms of the community, well, like everyone has one. Like so I won't waste too much time on that one. But I would say that the middle bullet point, is probably the, the most important one, is the fact that, that support is in real time, live. Most of the staff that, work around that storage solution is going to have access to that Slack, and on our end, it's actually anyone that we want in there, including the engineering people, adding features and so on and so forth. There's really a lot of great people working behind, making sure that 24/7 you're covered and supported.
So let's say, I guess, a different concept to, we do have a ticketing system, we do have a phone number and email address, but it could be for quick questions up to, hey guys, I'd like to know how to tie in my Atempo systems via the API. So I'll discuss a bit more about this with Mike, but we run the full gamut of quick answers up to, hey, could we get on a call and we'd like to discuss about the API.
In terms of the award, you just take a look by yourself. You can actually do some research on the internet about that. Recently we've been designated at in the top 500 of Deloitte growing highlight to look at by Deloitte. But if it's not that, it's really is the leading in on the magic quadrant of Gartner in terms of both the ability to execute, the completeness of vision, and as you can see there, every single year we're growing on that path. So there's definitely something to look at. Finally, the NPS score, for people that don't know, I wasn't too familiar with that unit, probably because the company I worked for weren't too proud of their own NPS score. But to be quite honest, for average of a technology company, I would say that in general, their average, they do average around the 50 marks at best. We're 8 consecutive quarters over 80. The last 3 has been over 85, which indicates that we're double the quality. That's again, that could be discussed, but there's where we almost are double the quality of support of our closest competitors, and therefore that's all I hear is great feedback about the support here. Something that is that we do brag a lot about, no doubts.
The Magic Quadrant, I guess we've been leading for 4 years in a row now, but we're leading in the scale out file storage category against all odds and against players or competitors that are a lot bigger than us, and we're all moving on the 2 axes. So that's how I used to judge and evaluate solutions when I used to be a customer. But we're definitely super well positioned for your current workloads, as well as your probably scaling to the cloud ideas, or hey, how could I take part of my workflow and deploy it in the public cloud. And as you can see, we are never satisfied in terms of, so our mascot is in there being never satisfied. But as Alex mentioned, we probably have about double the rate of customer success quality than our competitors. So we are not getting into not being arrogant about our customer success quality, but that's usually our competitors or our competition usually makes it a bit easy, because customers come to us and they're really extremely dissatisfied with the customer support they're getting from either their reseller or their solutions provider. So that's one thing where we excel with Images in Tech in Quebec. The province of Quebec is just providing super awesome customer support, customer success, plus the added benefit of having a storage manufacturer that has great customer success engineers and great customer success quality. I could maybe dive a bit deeper into the architecture. So Qumulo Core in and of itself, So the history behind the company, founded in 2012, we were in stealth mode 2-3 years. Lots of the brain trust behind Qumulo comes from other manufacturers behind the scale out ideology. And so we went back to the table, took the time to develop our own scale out file system. It took a long time. So the product launched around 2016. And so the architecture is modular, and this allows us to be super agile in the way we present a scale-out file storage solution. So in terms of protocols to access the cluster, we support SMB2, SMB3, NFS v3, NFS v4.1, which is a work in progress. We don't support all of the features, but the basic feature set is in there. We also support FTP, encrypted or not, for older workloads. We have this in production at a broadcaster, for example. Active Directory authentication, which is standard running in the enterprise, or LDAP if you have a Unix environment. We also support, we have a REST API, and Mike will probably delve a bit more into this. So that's how we can actually interact in a programmatic fashion to our cluster, but we also have an open API, and that's where the conversation gets interesting, and how we can integrate with third-party solutions vendors. And Atempo would probably be the best example of another partner solutions provider integrating directly via the APIs. Mike, do you want to maybe talk a bit more about how you guys integrate to our open API?
Yeah, sure. And thanks, Pascal. So what we're able to do, and we'll talk about more in the presentation we're going to do, but we're able to actually communicate with the API to fire off things for using snapshots, allowing for quick, fast incrementals, as well as being able to do something we call Snapstore, which I'm going to dive into. But there's barely been an open engineering effort between the two organizations to really get to the heart of how do we address some of those real tough media and media at scale for archive backup, moving to and from between different tiers of storage. And this API really helps us take care of that.
And this is usually rare in store solutions or optional, and you have to pay a licensing fee, where we believe in the openness of it all. And this allows us to usually offer, I guess, better solutions along with our partners, and advantages or performance advantages or what have you when integrating with a solution such as Atempo. I will probably skip what's in the deeper levels of the architecture, but I'd be happy to have a one-on-one conversation with any of you guys and or other technological experts at Qumulo. Just a sample of our Qumulo customers and logos. It's been a great year and a great 2 years adventure, pandemic notwithstanding, in Montreal and in Quebec. I would say most, if not all, of the M&E customers, M&E focused customers, know about us and know about Images in Tech. And all of our customers in Montreal are super happy about the solution. So the challenge with Alex and I, and with your team at Images and Technologies, is getting the name known. So we're doing really, really well worldwide, especially in North America and the United States, as well as in Europe. We have some very well-known logos, which I cannot mention, but the challenge is to, Alex and I are not in the mood to pester you as a standard manufacturer solutions provider would do. We're there to develop and build the brand in Quebec. I would say Quebec in general is a bit late to the game, knowing about Qumulo. We are leading the Magic Quadrant for many reasons, and customers in media, in creative spaces that do adopt Qumulo are usually giving us raving reviews. So don't be shy to engage Denis and engage the team at Images in Tech, or give us a shout, and we promise that we will if it's not the right solution for your needs, we'll tell you and be upfront about it. And if it's not the right timing, we'll definitely just keep you in mind, and we'll engage eventually when it's the right timing for a project. Alex, did you have anything to say about, I guess, Quebec logos or the logos that you see there being mentioned?
So one thing for sure is that, like the what Pascal initially mentioned is that, like I would say that the totality of our customer that can be reached out to and joined and, and discuss with about their experience with our platform. So what I would add to what Pascal has just said is that, if you have any question or you would like to talk to a real customer that's using in your region our solution, don't hesitate in reaching out to us. The other thing that, I could mention is that, the Qumulo is born and raised in MNE, is actually, has had their most, their biggest successes so far are around media and entertainment. Right now, not that Qumulo as, their strategy is to not be kept in that niche. And so therefore you're going to see more of Qumulo having success in medical imagery, for example, or research and development or high performance computing. You're going to see a lot of, in the AI, we're working hard in getting some of the certification around NVIDIA, for example. But you can see also in video surveillance and so forth, meaning that, whatever is your project or future use of the storage within your organization, it will be properly used in media, but it can also be used as well in some other of the business units that your company covers. And always keep that in mind. And, I'm pretty much leaving on the table that, if you have doubts or you have questions and you would like to speak to a customer that does use our solution, don't hesitate in reaching out to me or Pascal. And, we're going to put you in touch with, the proper people and with the individuals that have worked with our solution.
We pay them in chocolate.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but in terms of, there's a good reason behind us having so much success in the media space and creative spaces. They are really heavy users. So I guess we're really good at mixed IOPS. We're really good at, we can do billions of files, billions of directories. So these are all qualities that are usually rare and hard to find, or something doesn't work right. And so that's where our roots are, but we're also very good, as Alex mentioned, in video surveillance, healthcare imaging, or any and all challenges that require lots of many files or many directories and or really high performance. So it could mean home folders, Linux home folders. It could mean any other corporate kind of file usage that you have. But what's great about this solution is it's also cloud native. So we can look at this many ways. We could look at it, hey, I want to deploy in the cloud, but I eventually will need something on premises at my studio or in my company. Okay, well, we can do this. Or vice versa, I need something right now at the studio, but I will eventually want to think about the cloud. And many of these logos or customer examples are also, it just so happens that they're also Atempo customers. So you could take a look at as well as, hey, Atempo, I really have a big archival or information management challenge right now. And we usually direct customers to Atempo because it's a really good solution, but eventually they will circle back to us because they will have a storage challenge, and vice versa. We're always exchanging with Mike and the team to provide good solutions, but good, have the whole holistic view of, hey, we're not trying to push a storage solution if it's not a good fit, but let's have a conversation, a wider conversation where what's your strategy over 3, 4, 5 years, and where would Qumulo and Atempo fit in the longer term? And NFB would be a good example. They've been running Atempo for a good 11, 12 years. So that was probably the right choice to make, but they're also a Qumulo customer because it integrates so well with Qumulo. And so on this note, I'll just go ahead and let you drive, Mike.
Okay, thanks. So as you know, we had some introduction to the beginning, but real quickly about myself, my name is Mike Oakes, been in the storage solution data preservation market 30, 35 years. I know I'm dating myself, plus the picture on the screen just confirms it. A little bit about Atempo though when we get started. And some of you may remember ADA, Atempo Digital Archive. We also got our start, or our roots come from the media space. Now we've expanded outside of that, HPC, healthcare, finance, all the other major market verticals. But as you see here on the screen, we're about 2,000 customers now worldwide and a little over 250, I think it's 260 employees now, and they're scattered, which is a scatter, they're placed both in Europe, the United States, and Asia Pacific. So we can do that 7x24, 365 sun never sets model for our support for our customers. The bulk of our development is in Paris. So we're a French-based company, of course. And we do, as I said, we have a very strong expertise in media, entertainment. We've been doing this with, which ADA was the forebear, now is Myria, which started about 7 to 10 years ago. We took a hard look at the unstructured data market. And just like Qumulo, we're designed for the unstructured data market. Large files, small files, medium files, doesn't matter, right? Very, very large data sets, very large mix of file sets to be able to do archive, backup, and all those others we're going to talk about in the workflows. And we're very scalable. We can be a couple tens of terabytes to multiple exabytes and everything in between. Very flexible solution. And it's a singular solution. We're a software solution, and the software solution itself, it encompasses, we call the 5 pillars. And I'm going to talk about 2 of the earlier ones first. So the 3 o'clock position, the 5 o'clock, Myria for backup, Myria for archiving. Think of the forerunner of ADA. We pulled those pillars forward and put them into Myria. All the same rich feature sets that we've added to over the time. So, backup needing to do, hey, I need to have protection of things I need immediately for production, where archive, long-term preservation, right? I want to keep things for years to come. And it may be on different types of storage, maybe putting things on Qumulo, mixing Qumulo with the cloud. We're able to put things on different platforms. We call them storage manager containers, just a place to put data. But you can mix and match where needed. And all these workflows are available underneath the software platform. One thing to note, you see Myria for backup, Myria for archiving. Think of the overhead or the top level feature sets are different of what they're doing, but underneath the hood, same engines moving data. And I'm going to get to that, and there's a why to it in a second. So at the 5 o'clock position, one of the newer things we brought in, and this is where we've really collaborated a lot with Qumulo, Myria for migration. We saw a need for people to get off of, slow, antiquated, multiple pieces of storage onto something bigger, better, faster. Qumulo, again, is a great example with their analytics and the speed of what they can actually process data at. Really, a lot of people we've seen move to that platform, that architecture. But this migration allows you to go, many to one pieces of storage or one to one. I can collapse locations, whole facilities into a single platform. This thing that was, it's different. I say this thing, this pillar is a little different. Think of this as time-based, right? It's a rental. I only need it for 3, 6, 12 months, whatever it happens to be, but I don't need to buy the product and take it into perpetuity. I use it for a set amount of time with the capacity to migrate. And if we're doing it, some professional services to help you migrate the data. When you're done, you shut it down, right? The difference between that and the Myria for data moving is now it's Myria for synchronization. Think of synchronization, replication. There's a tool called Easy Move, which I'm going to talk about. This is ongoing, right? This is something you're doing, an ongoing workflow. Same with the backup and the archive. Think of this as things I'm doing yearly or every 2 years. We have a subscription model now. We've changed a little. It used to be you had to license everything. I need to license FastScan. I need to license this piece of storage, and I need to license this capacity. We moved into a subscription model where you license the workflow and a capacity, which comes with support. Very simple, 2 lines on a quote, and easy to do. Now, at the top, you'll see something called Mirafa Analytics. And this is the one I was talking about. There's a data movement engine underneath. We took a new approach and made things a little smarter underneath with the data movers. What this allows us to do is anything we're doing a workflow on inline, data moving, backup, archiving, why not glean analytic information out of it? Understand your entire platform. And what I mean by that is Mirafa Analytics or your entire data landscape. Mirafa Analytics, what it allows you to do, and it comes at no cost. If you've purchased one of these other workflows with us, you get the analytics package. But not only can you do things that we're actually acting upon, but maybe you have 500 terabytes that you're acting upon within some workflow with us. But you have 2 petabytes or a whole bunch of data external. You can go out and actually walk or crawl that. There's offline and online crawlers, and you can get information about your entire data ecosystem without having to pay extra cost. You can glean all that analytic information, different pieces of storage. We did this intentionally. We believe, as Qumulo does too, your data is your data. You should be able to get to it when you need to get to it, and in an open system format. This goes whether we're putting things on tape, putting things to the cloud, putting things on disk. You should be able to access it whether we're in line or not. And this analytics just extends that even further to be able to gather that information within your workflow. So how do we do that? And I'm going to go pretty high level here because I know we're short on time. A couple quick things. You remember ADA early on, there was the notion of an admin interface that ran on Windows or Linux or Windows, Mac, and there was a user interface for Linux. If you notice the Miria web interface, we're moving now all to HTTP, HTTPS. Why? Well, data is positioned around the world. People are positioned around the world. You need to be able to access it and need to be able to access it efficiently without having to load and manage 6 thin clients on everybody's system. So fully programmable too. As the HTTP REST gets into, and we'll talk about things with MAMs in a second, but they can fully program as well as you can write your own code straight in. Anything you do with the GUI, you can do with the public REST API. The engine itself from Miria, as I said, we're all software. However, there's a couple different components. There you see Postgres here, database comes with Miria. Now, we switched away from MaxDB. We did this a couple of reasons. One, a lot of customers wanted to use something that was not Red Hat or Windows, and we were locked into those 2 operating systems with MaxDB. Switched to Postgres to take care of that, as well as true HA in distant locations. Customers can now, or you can set up and have 2 different locations. Databases are kept in sync. And should one go down, the other one will take over via VIP, clustered by Petroni, if anybody's interested. Then there's the server and the agent. Server, real quickly, think of it as traffic cop. All interfacing, the web interface, command line, user interface, administration, all goes through the server. Coupled with the data mover, the agent, name tells you everything it does. It's facilitating movement between some type of storage to some type of storage. If we can talk to something, whether it be cloud, disk, tape, object, we can 99% of the time can facilitate movement, SCSI, iSCSI, some networking, some type of IB, whatever it happens to be. The real quick thing at the bottom, one of the newer features in Miria from the data movers and performance is we've now allow you to pool data movers. So I can put 2, 4, 8, I can choose how many I put in a pool. What this allows you to get is 1, load balancing, 2, failover. So getting that data backed up that much quicker, or reducing that window of vulnerability, especially if you get a lot of dailies coming in, you want to get them protected off. You can get that done by pooling data movers together. And basically what it allows you to do is you can have data coming in, or we're scanning for data at the same time we're moving data. So you're doing a parallel workflow, as well as you can multi-thread through data movers, be using cores in them and so forth. So real quickly, what in the M&E space have we done to hit some of those 4 major challenges, right? How to perform full backups, especially when your incrementals are exceeding your backup window. This comes down to 1, pooling the data movers, but also, if you think about it, Pascal mentioned early on, be able to talk to their API. How about if I can do a full backup and then right behind it, I can do an incremental into perpetuity? Basically, without having to ever walk a file system again, using snapshots to compare an older snapshot to a newer one that was just taken, taking those delta differential changes, pushing it to a server and having it parsed out to data movers for movement. Coupled with backing up hundreds of petabytes and hundreds of exabytes, files, directories, doesn't matter. Being able to pool those data movers, especially in the unstructured data market, allows you to keep that thread count up, which is so important for very small files. getting multiple small files and keeping the bandwidth up into your particular piece of storage or storages, because you can store in multiple locations. And then the real big one here, restoring quickly. Again, it's being able to use data movers, being able to talk in native formats, and being able to talk to multiple different pieces of storage to get that data back as quickly as possible from wherever it's stored, but also restoring it across, we call it cross-platform restoration. What we do is during a restore, during a storage out to some storage medium, we'll actually take all of the permissions, ACLs, metadata that goes with that file or files, and store it in our database. Why? When I have to come from a different platform, maybe I'm going Linux to, or NFS to SMB, or I'm going Linux to Windows, all those permissions don't actually line up on both platforms. What we'll do is apply the appropriate ones that can to that retrieval point. Maybe it's your Mac or a local system. So you're able to work on it without having to basically go and change all the permissions by hand. Sorry, so real quick about the incremental backup or fast scan. This is just a quick representation, but what we do in the case of being able to use a snapshot is the first time we basically walk a file system, you're not really walking it, we're walking the snapshot. And that snapshot gets triggered by us, stored in a format known to us, or a naming convention known to us on the source storage. But then the next time around, we take another one during an incremental and just get that, you see those basically in red, those newer modified files. We'll take those and apply those across basically the storage targets we're talking to, and then delete the old snapshot to save space. We only ever keep one snapshot, the latest one, going forward to reduce space and use that as our next reference snapshot. Coupled with, I'm sorry, this isn't moving for a second. Everything's stalled. But there we go. So I had a network glitch there for a second. So some of the key things we've done we talked about in the media space, right? If you're looking at the bottom, I'll start at the bottom first, data movers and what they can perform. So you're allowed to do video previews. You can do transcoding from large codec and down res, basically to smaller codecs. You can do partial file retrieval. But coupled with that, we've put in, and this has been in for a while, but we've enhanced it, the ability to do both metadata tagging and searching. And searching across different archives, across different platforms. So you're not searching on a particular archive. Maybe you have 3, 4 backups you've done, different archives. We call them repositories. You can search across all of them. You can create your own ingest. You can create your own XML ingest, basically, or API ingest, as well as you can build your own dictionaries. So you can start to have people, and you can get very granular on who can tag and who can. And they're only allowed to tag and do nothing else on particular archives and platforms. So the choice is yours, how deep you need to get and how granular you want to get with managing it. The last one, of course, is that media asset management systems that I talked about earlier. With the advent of the REST API, we can talk to just about any MAM out there as long as they program. It's actually, they're talking to us. But with the REST API, it makes it very, very simple. And so we've done integrations in the past with Delets. We've done them with VizRT. Simply giving them the open REST API, it's very quickly and easy for them to program to us. So I just want to give a quick use case. And this happens to be, we're actually doing this in Canada with Qumulo at a site. This one was more video surveillance, but it combined both archive and backup. What you see up the top left, 2 Myriad servers in two different locations, basically. And they're clustered together with Patroni, so complete HA availability. Not everybody needs it. You can add it later if you need to. But what we did was, you see there's a primary and a secondary Qumulo at the bottom. Now, Qumulo is great at replication with block replication between 2 locations. But in this case, we wanted to control each independently. So every store of data was actually different and hashed differently. So if anybody for somehow nefariously corrupted one side, the other side was completely untouched. So we're moving the data and having Qumulo do it. What we've done here is we have the notion we call storage manager containers. We're putting a copy on Qumulo and a copy on the secondary Qumulo as a backup. And then you see up top, there's also 2 Spectre libraries, and we're putting a copy in each of those as an archive. All of them retrievable by the user, but what we've done is we do independent hashes for protection of data and data preservation. So if one hash is bad for one particular file, and you can choose hashes by MD5, SHA-256, really doesn't matter, choice is yours. But when we go to pull the file back, if the hash doesn't match, we'll pull it from somewhere else. One of the other storage points, report it's bad, and maybe take some action on the back end, maybe tell you it needs to be restored again or something along those lines. But coupled with that, you get actually the protection. Should any one side go down, you can pull from the other. So a whole location can go away. We still get data taking online just from the other system and service that production as need be. So real quickly, I know we don't have a lot of time. I'm going pretty fast. I apologize. Right, open and multiple storage backup solutions. Your data, we expect you to be able to get to it 7x24, 365. Now, what do I mean by that? Maybe I'm going to disk, maybe I'm going to tape, maybe I'm going to cloud. From a tape perspective, we support PaxTar, which is an open tar format. We also do LTFS now 251. If we go to the cloud or some type of object, I'm going to use AWS as an example real quick. When we put things up, it may go up in a multi-part format, but other vendors will actually go and try to do vendor lock-in on you, right? They're going to take and either split the file up and put it in some type of numbering or object numbering scheme that you have no idea what a file is unless you have their map. We don't believe that. You should be able to get to the data. We'll put it up as maybe even multi-part uploads, but we'll put up a single file name with that directory structure we call one-to-one, or you can put it up in a tar format or a container format, but you're able to get to it. Open tar and or somebody can use an S3 browser, go right to that system with us not even being in the loop and go get their data, right? Really important. We talked about Snapshot, and FastScan's the tool that actually does those delta differentials, communicates with those APIs, those particular pieces of storage, and allows us to do those fast differentials. Multi-threading, parallel data processing, large data sets, a lot of small, medium, large file mix. I'm going to jump to time navigation for 1 second, and then I want to get back to disaster recovery and Snapstore. So time navigation has been in the product for a while, but you now have the features be able to go in and search across. Think of it especially with the web GUI, it's very nice. You can drag and drop or type in a specific date and time to bring up some data you want to look at. And it'll bring up all of, when I say some data, it's that particular point in time when we took a backup. But you can also get all the different versions that have gone before that by clicking on a file and telling it, I want to look at all these different versions and I want this particular version. You can take a look at the hash, everything, all the metadata that goes along with it. Really nice tool to use, especially in the media space, and I'm looking for shots at a particular date and a particular time. Now, the reason I left disaster recovery last, there's a new feature we put in, as we've been adding new features to Mirror called Snapstore. The ability to combine a backup and a DR in a single solution, and we do this really well. This really works well with Qumulo. And it goes back to also being able to use a snapshot. So think about when I do a backup, I mentioned we store all of the metadata information, permissions, and so forth in our database. How about if I move that in a one-to-one format with the data straight to the Qumulo? In the case of my primary system goes down, I then can point right to the Qumulo and keep running. Coupled with, we can use their snapshots to do versioning for a backup. So when we do an apply of a backup, we do the first backup, we move everything. Second time around on an incremental, just before we start applying data to that backup side or that DR side, we'll take a snapshot. There's our versions, because now when we change something on the Qumulo, we'll have those versions within the backup or the snapshot. And you can peruse all of that information from our GUI. You don't have to go into the Qumulo. We give you all the information of where things are located. And you say, I want to recall a file. We'll pull that particular file from whatever location it is within the backup and our DR location. Real quickly, there's one other tool I want to mention, Easy Move. This is now, it's really a tool, especially within the media space, to allow people to, they can move data between two locations, two pieces of storage, actually self-archive, self-backup, retrieve. And you can get very granular on what users can do with this. They can copy, they can move, they can sync, or maybe they can only do a copy, or they can only open things and look at things and do previews of metadata. You get very granular on what users can do, but it allows to offload the administrators to have to always have a whole wrangling team or data wrangling team to go pull back all this different information. There's other things they can be doing rather than pulling back a file somebody accidentally deleted. So they can get their own data back when needed. They can also look at the metadata if you've given them that operation underneath the hood. And you can just assign basically metadata taggers that all they do is have access to metadata and can do nothing else. Anything you don't give them access to does not show up in this screen. Basically what happens is it's not grayed out, it's just not there. They don't get to know about something that's not there in their particular workflow. And then real quickly here at the end, just again, as you saw from Qumulo, some of the same customers in here that we've been doing now, working with for years, NFB, Deluxe, a couple others. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to either Pascal or Mark to continue on.
Maybe one last word. So that's really a powerful way of looking at. So we have many customers in Quebec and Montreal who use Atempo as their data movement management engine, where it manages backups, archives, data movements as well. That's the ideal case, or you could deploy it for backups only or archive only. As Mike mentioned, we have a great replication engine built in to Qumulo. However, if you take a look at the Atempo, it adds a lot of flexibility on top of what we can do natively. DR scenarios, how you back up your data, especially how you archive. LTFS support is great. You might be on a lower grade solution, or you might have tape to reread. So Atempo is really good as well as at rereading tapes, but it's the same mentality. So, openness of platforms, no vendor lock-in, great analytics in both cases, great APIs. That's why we integrate so well. And no vendor lock-in, it's on premises or in the cloud. So that's why I like both solutions so much. It's kind of the same mentality of, hey, we're not there to try and sell you some more stuff if you don't need it, or if you just want to get your data in the cloud, we won't be there to try and charge you an additional license. In both cases, you could deploy Qumulo natively in the cloud, or you could deploy your Atempo solution in the cloud. And if you want to, work with your data without having us in the loop, it's all possible. So I'll hand it out to Mark maybe for a quick conclusion. I hope that I didn't say bon appétit, but I hope everybody enjoyed their lunches while we discussed. And I don't see any questions, but feel free to ask them right now. I think we're going over time, but if you have any questions, Mike and I are there to answer them.
Thanks, Pascal. Thanks, Mike and Alex as well. Real quick, I'm just going to make sure I can change the slide here. Let me see. Oh, I cannot seem to change the slide over. There we go. Thank you, Ashley. So most of you know. In fact, I would assume all of you know a lot about Technologie. We've been working together, whether it's our clients and our partnership with Qumulo and Atempo for many years now. We've been operating for now, we're in our 26th year. We're going to our 27th year. We can let me see if I can change over to the next slide. I have a couple of my colleagues here on with us that'll be in a better position to speak to what we do. For those of you who don't know what we do outside of the M&E space. As most of you know, we offer systems and solutions for content creation and computer-assisted design. So we operate in the VFX space, video editing, video game development, of course, architecture, design, broadcast, and sound. These are our main focus. M&E's, I would say, our main focus. Many are unaware that we actually operate also in the HPC space, particularly artificial intelligence. So a lot of the verticals that we operate in include healthcare, agriculture, research, online retailing, NLP, M&E, as you guys all know. We started out on the IT services and the solutions for small businesses. So this is 25 years ago where we actually began offering managed IT and optimized teleworking solutions and backend as a service and you name it. And of course, last but not least, the cloud and data center side, we most people don't know we have a data center. We actually have a data center where we do provide, again, backend as a service and software as a service solutions, cloud solutions, and everything else. More importantly, what I wanted to do though is I wanted to introduce a couple of my colleagues here. Many of you may know them, but may not have a complete background on them. So I think Denis, are you still there? So
Yes, I am.
why I want to introduce my team is because this actually relates to what Mike and Pascal and Alex were alluding to earlier on the service side, on the support side, and the customer experience and so on. I joined the team very recently. In fact, I've been with Imagitech for a couple of months now, just over 2 months. And one thing that I noticed walking in is the depth of knowledge and skill sets that the team have at Technologie. We are growing and growing and growing. In fact, in early January, we're going to be launching our new website. You guys will be introduced to pretty much every member of our team now. We are about 30 strong with a lot of talent on this team. Just to illustrate, Denis, for example, and you can speak a little more to that. Denis, you are on the advisory board for the SMPTE and EAI. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, on the SMT. Actually, I'm not an advisory. I'm a director on the board for the SMT chapter for Montreal and Quebec region, and for Entertain AI, which is a group who is doing promotion of the AI in the M&E market and trying to promote the expertise we have in Quebec across the world. I'm part of the advisory board to have done do this promotion group, and there's going to be a big event it's gonna happen in February that you're gonna hear about it. It'll be very interesting.
And you were telling me earlier about Qumulo. Tell me a little bit about your Qumulo experience.
Yeah, I've started pushing and promoting Qumulo while before I joined Images and Tech. And when I joined Images and Tech, at first I didn't push any storage solution. I took like a year to think of what I was looking to push, because in my past career I was pushing many solutions at the same time, and I said, okay, no, this time I want to push the right solution that I have confident in it, and I choose to push Qumulo as my primary high-performance storage solution, and also Atempo for all the everything regard to archive and backup, which is two solutions I have completely trust in. And Atempo, I used to be also an end user when I used to work in the old time at Vision Global, if some people remember that name.
Fantastic, thank you, Denis. I'm going to introduce real quick Mathieu Péloquin. So Mathieu is a sysadmin with us here at Technologie. In fact, I understand you're Qumulo certified. Tell us a little bit about the client side experience when you're presenting that solution to our clients.
So basically, I'm on the technical side of things. So if the sales teams have some question, well, I answer them, and I've done some pre-sales for Qumulo with some of our clients, and I've deployed the 5 Qumulo nodes with the help of Pascal a few months ago. I'm also Qumulo certified, like you said, and I've been a sysadmin for Imagitech Technologie for the past 8 months now.
Thank you, Mathieu. And I believe we have a special guest, one of our resident rock stars here, Jonathan. Jonathan Tremblay. Merci d'être joint à nous. I think, Jonathan, you're no stranger to many of the folks here on the call. Talk to us about you know, the dedication, the level of support, and our involvement with our clients.
Well, that was actually the thing that brought me to Technologie, because before that, I was working as a consultant, independent consultant, and I work with Imagine many projects. And since my first project with them, I always brought them to assist me. And what I found out is that Imagine Technologie are very, very close with the customer. That's the kind of thing that I was doing on my side too with the customer. That we're getting really, really close because we have our hands directly in their workflows, directly in what they do. So a lot of things are at stakes. So when we choose a partner, like we haven't chosen like, Qumulo and Atempo, it's just like random partners like this. It's actually thought. We actually thought a lot of what we're gonna bring to our customer, because the thing is that we care of what the people are doing and the way they are doing, and we understand like the production side, the high level of intensity. We know that that in the industry we have the same stress as if we were saving people, but we're not saving people. We're like moving data as we're creating pictures, but the stress is the exact same, and that thing we understand. And so we're trying to build that very special relationship. This is what brought me to the image team, is that we share that exact same thought of like getting close with the customer and getting that project done the way that people envision them. And I think that what makes us special within the Montreal scene, and everyone's here, like a lot of them knows us like very personally, and that's the way we do things.
Merci, Jonathan. When I have the privilege of going on the road and meeting with our clients, it's clear to me we're very much an extension of them. We integrate with them. We are very much a part of their team. Jonathan being someone who would have been our client, actually. So you're an artist yourself, so you absolutely understand, probably better than anyone on the team, what it takes, and have high expectations of a service provider, and you bring that every day to the office and to our clients. So does Denis and Mathieu and everyone on our team. I didn't want to spend too much time on Image Technologie because everyone, or most of you here, know who we are, or we already are partnering in one way, shape, or form. I would like to open it up to Q&A. I do see a couple of things in the chat here. I'll just open it up to see if there's any questions. Does anybody have any questions at all?
No question for me.
Okay. If there aren't any questions, Pascal, Mike, and the team, if everyone is fine
we
with
do
this.
have one question from Patrick Carmin.
Voilà, Patrick. Merci. So roadmaps for Qumulo, Atempo. Mike or Pascal or Alex?
Sorry, we are short on time.
Yeah.
It'll be a busy year for Qumulo for sure. I cannot divulge too many features coming up, but we can have a one-on-one, Patrick, or any customers interested. I would say many great features that will make your life easier using a scale solution. Patrick's a suspense. What about you, Mike? Any, or maybe even Louis, since you have Louis on the call?
No, actually, it's kind of funny this comes up because I think the 16th of this month, we're doing what came out in 2021 and what's coming in 2022. So if you get some time, hit our website, sign up for it. It take too long, as Pascal said. We're running out of time here to list everything that's happened and going to happen in the roadmap, but there's some really cool features that are coming in.
I could probably name drop NFS v4.1 complete feature set. And once we bake something in, it's super clean and it works well, as well as transcoding, which is coming up. Transcoding is the idea of being able to add some nodes to your cluster and have it widen the stripes and rebalance the efficiency, make it more efficient in terms of the data to parity ratio, as well as play with the parity level. So hey, I'm running dual parity. Well, I want to make it triple parity now because I want to scale even more. That's coming this year. I can't say when, but it's coming this year.
What I'll do after this, folks, I will send everybody Mike's personal phone number. You guys can call him during the holidays and give you the sneak peek for 2022.
So we're here for.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, so if there's no other questions, what we'll do is we'll send out a follow-up. We'll send out a follow-up and encourage anyone who wants to book a demo or further this discussion. We will encourage you to do so. If that, unless my colleagues have anything else to add, I do appreciate we went over slightly. Thank you to everyone on the call for joining. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you to everyone at Team Qumulo and Atempo and my colleagues here at Image Tech. Merci beaucoup à tout le monde. C'est très apprécié. On va souhaiter de joyeuses fêtes à tous, à vos familles, everyone you guys care about. Happy holidays. Stay safe, and we will see you in 2022.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for lunch.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, everyone.
Merci tout le monde. Merci.
Merci. Bye bye.